Hey, honeybees, we're going to pick up on chapter 26. Stephen and his mother eventually gave up trying to find the mysterious baby possum. Samar watched them from her living room window, but she didn't venture out. After about an hour, hairy spiders and Flashlight woke up and returned on wobbly legs to their den, and that was that again. Don't worry, I told Bongo. Third time's a charm. What's that supposed to mean? That's just something people say. Charm? Bongo sneered. Did you know that's what people call a bunch of hummingbirds? No, actually. Hummingbirds, which, let's face it, are pretty much just overdressed flies. But a bunch of us crows together, guess what we get to be called? What? A murder! A murder of crows! Can you believe it? A bunch of trees? You're a grove, a bunch of raccoons, a gaze. Bongo flapped her wings. But crows were a murder. Are you quite finished? I asked. Sorry, I'm worried about you, and I get grumpy when I'm worried. Bongo plucked out a piece of new grass and tossed it aside. I have one more plan to get Samar and Stephen talking, I said. How about a plan to get you not turned into a picnic table? Can't control everything in life, Bongo, I said gently. And if I could, what fun would that be? But this little thing, this wish of Samar's, I can make it happen. I hesitated. At least I think I can. I don't understand why this matters so much to you. She reminds me of a little girl I knew a long time ago. You're a Butinsky, said Bongo wearily, but I love you anyway. She looked at me with something like the crow version of a smile. Beak open, head cocked, eyes gleaming. So what's plan number 3? Chapter 27. Once night had fallen, I sent Bongo to her next mission. All you have to do is untie Samar's wish, I instructed. Oh, she said, is that all? Bongo flew to the low branch where Samar had tied her pink-dotted fabric scrap. She yanked on it with her beak several times. Easier said than done, she reported. You're a crow. Use a tool. Crows are well known for making and using tools. They're probably the brainiest birds around. Bongo poked and considered. I have a paperclip in my collection. I'll give that a shot. It'll never work, Angie's predicted from her nest. I think owls are secretly a bit jealous of crows. One by one, heads poked out of my hollows, as well as the skunk den under the porch, to watch Bongo at work. What's Bongo doing, Ma? Asked one of the ewes. It's called tool use, said Big Ewe. No big deal. Folks, if you can't say something helpful, I said, please don't say anything at all. Bongo returned with a small piece of twisted metal. Straightened paperclip, she explained. Found it on the school playground. With great effort, she managed to slide the straight end of the paperclip into the knot. But try as she might, she could not pull the knot free. Almost got it, Bongo muttered between her clenched beak. Why is Bongo doing that? Harold asked Angie's. There's no explaining crows, Angie said. Because I asked her to, I said, because it's important to me. With a frustrated groan, Bongo let the paperclip fall to the ground. It's no use, Red, she said. Maybe it's time to give up on this idea, I said with a sigh. I'm not meant to help. I'm meant to sit here. Just sit. A gentle wind rippled my leaves. No one spoke. Wait just a minute, said Big Ewe. Maybe I can lend you a paw. You're awfully heavy for that branch, Angie pointed out. Let her try, I said. Carefully, Big Ewe inched her way out onto the limb where Samar's wish was tied. She was indeed heavy, and my branch bowed under her weight, but I held firm. She toyed with the knot, using both front paws. Before long, she pulled the strip free. Ta-da! She cried, clutching the fabric in her right paw. Well, I did the hard part, Bongo sulked. It was joint effort, I said. Teamwork. And much appreciated, both of you. You have the wish, said Angie's. Now, what, Red? Now we wait until Samar comes to visit, I said, and then Bongo works her magic. Chapter 28. The full moon bathed us in cool blue light as we awaited Samar's nightly visit. She came out in her robe and slippers. Sitting on her blanket, she waited patiently as the baby scrambled over to see her. Around her neck, she was wearing the ribboned key that Bongo had given her. "Where's my crow friend?" she whispered, as the ewes somersaulted in front of her. She looked up into my branches, and I was glad I had instructed Bongo to hide on Stephen's roof. Right on schedule, Bongo flew to Stephen's bedroom window. She settled on the sill. Samar's fabric scrap dangled in her beak. Carefully, she tapped on Stephen's window. Nothing happened. I told Bongo to be as quiet as possible. We didn't want Samar to see what we were up to. Tap, tap, tap. Louder this time. Still nothing. Stephen apparently was quite a sound sleeper. Bongo looked at me. Her eyes said, "Now what?" She tried again. Tap, tap, tap. Samar started. "What was that?" she asked. Fortunately, Harold distracted her with an attempt to fly into her arm. It was more awkward hop than flight, and Samar giggled. "Good going, little Harold," I thought. Bongo dropped Samar's wish onto the sill. Tap, tap, tap. Nothing. She paced back and forth in front of the window, then she froze. Her eyes glinted in the moonlight. Bongo leaned closer to the glass and performed her very best fire engine siren. By the time Stephen's window flew open, Bongo was already back on the roof, watching her efforts pay off. Stephen peered out. He rubbed his eyes. He noticed the scrap on his sill. Frowning, he held it up, catching the moonlight in order to read the words written on the fabric. He looked down at the lawn. There was Samar, looking up at him, surrounded by an odd collection of baby animals. "You rock," said Bongo. Hope you enjoyed that. We will pick up. Oops, actually, I'm sorry. I think we have time for one more chapter, chapter 29. And then we'll pick up on chapter 30 the next day. But chapter 29, when Stephen eased out the front door, he was wearing red pajamas and a gray sweatshirt. His light brown hair mussed, his eyes bleary. The flashlight he was carrying sliced through the darkness. The babies turned toward him and froze. Their eyes glowed like little moons. Flash squeaked in fear. Stephen clicked off his light, and Flash seemed to calm a bit, although he was definitely hiccuping. "Hey," Stephen whispered. "Hey," Samar whispered back. Stephen sat down next to Samar. The babies watched with interest. "Why do they come to you?" Stephen asked. "I don't know. It's like magic." "No," Samar shook her head. "I'm just quiet. They like that." Bongo flew down to Samar's shoulder. "Hello," she said to Stephen, mimicking Samar's voice. "Wow," he said. "That's amazing." "Yesterday I heard her imitate a doorbell." Stephen grinned. "She gave me this key," Samar said, holding it up. "I don't know what it's for. A diary or a jewelry box, maybe." "Or the world's smallest door," Stephen joked. For a while, everyone fell silent. Even the baby raccoons were still. At last, Stephen held out his hand, revealing Samar's wish. "I found this," he said. Even in the moonlight, Samar's blush was visible. She looked away. "I'm sorry about that word," Stephen said softly. "The word on the tree. It wasn't us." Samar nodded. "My parents aren't bad people. They're just afraid of things," Stephen shrugged. "So are mine," said Samar. "I heard my father talking about moving. If we can find a safe place to go." She gave a sad smile. "If there's even such a place." "I'm sorry," Stephen said again. The babies, sensing Stephen could be trusted, began to nuzzle and romp. Harold, the smallest ewe, searched for bugs. Rose Petal and her brother, Hot Buttered Popcorn, played tug of war with a long piece of grass. "I'll miss them," Samar said. "Hope you don't move," Stephen said. The light blinked on in Stephen's house. "I should go," he said. My parents see me. I should go." "Night," Samar said in a whisper. All the things I wanted to say to those two. I wanted to tell them that friendship doesn't have to be that hard, that sometimes we let the world make it hard. I wanted to tell them to keep talking. I wanted to make a difference, just a little difference, before I left this lovely world. And so I did it. I broke the rule. "Stay," I said. Oh my goodness. We're going to find out what happens after the tree talks tomorrow night. Chapter 30. Have a good night.